Hey everyone, welcome to this session by Intellipaat. My name is Anirudh and I hope you guys had a beautiful day today. And on that note, I welcome you all to this live session on the top 10 reasons of why you should consider learning Hadoop. Well, before we begin with this session, make sure to subscribe to the Intellipaat's YouTube channel and hit that bell icon so that you never miss an update from us. On that note, let's quickly discuss the agenda for today's session. We'll begin by checking out why we need any sort of big data handling in today's world, and then we'll check out all the tools which support big data and how we can go on to handle the big data problem of today as well. And after that, we'll take a quick introduction to Hadoop, and then we're going to jump directly into the reasons of why you should consider learning Hadoop in today's world. And after that, we'll check out all the salaries pertaining to each and every one of the big data tools out there. And at the end of it, I'm going to guide you guys to your fastest path, your fastest roadmap to becoming experts in Hadoop. Well, guys, again as usual, I have a surprise at the end of this video, so make sure you stick till the end of the video to avail full and heavy discounts on our products as well. Anyway, coming back to the first item on the agenda, we need to understand what today's big data problem is. Guys, again, as always, we would like to we would love to keep this session very interactive, so make sure you head down to the comment section below and do let me know your opinion on the big data problem we have in today's world. On that note, I'm going to start with a fascinating example of social media. I'm sure everyone here uses social media, right? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and all the other fancy stuff. So let me talk about the data, which moves around when we have to talk about Facebook. Well, consider this. There are 2.3 billion monthly active users who upload 250 billion photos every year to Facebook. So this equates to somewhere around 350 million photos being uploaded to Facebook's servers every single day. So what does this account for? It's not just video, it's not just photos, right? It's videos, it's text, and they have so many things to store as well. So they generate 40 lakh worth of gigabytes per data every single day. Yes, 40 lakh gigabytes. We call it a petabyte for the people who do not know what a petabyte is. 1 petabyte is 10 lakh gigabytes, guys. So imagine you're just going on Facebook, seeing some memes, wishing someone a happy birthday, but then look at the amount of data the world is actually generating. Think about how Facebook has to channel and set up its entire data warehousing network. It might be the data flow channels and whatnot to ensure that nothing crashes and all of your data is safe and pretty much it is stored in the most efficient way possible. In fact, let me give you another good example. When we talk about Instagram is again a very, very nice social media tool. I'm pretty sure again most of us use it as well. So there are 40 billion photos which are shared, which means that it brings up to 95 million photos every single day, 500 million videos every single day. Yes, you heard it right, 500 million. And again, multiple petabytes worth of data is used and moved around every single day, even at the data centers which Instagram has around the world as well. Again, 10 lakh gigabytes of data, guys. Consider the situation where you might have to upgrade memory in your laptop or your computer, or so you just go visit your computer store, or you just go onto an e-commerce website and you search for an expandable hard drive, and you realize that it is actually expensive to store data. 500 gigabytes, 1 terabytes or 2 terabytes worth of hard disk space is what we need. But then when we think about it, data gets filled really fast, and then to add on to it, it's really expensive. Now think about how these guys are actually storing petabytes worth of data. They're generating it, they're storing it, and the best part is this amount of data is generated every single day. 24 hours is all it takes to create and store 10 lakh gigabytes worth of data. So that's a lot of data while we are just Instagramming and DMing each other. Coming to Twitter, again, there are 6,000 tweets which happen every single second, and this means 500 million tweets every single day. So handling all of this, again, guys, it is a huge task, because even for the most skilled professional, you need the skills to ensure that you can handle huge quantities. And when we say huge, I've emphasized on the huge here because I just showed you what huge means when we talk about big data, right? Again, terabytes worth of data are being generated and uploaded to Twitter servers grows every day. And for the people who do not know a terabyte is 1000 gigabytes, guys. So a simple tweet, has such complex circumstances when you have to talk about data and whatever happens in the back end. In the front end, all these social media users, creators, they make sure it's very simple for the user, but then at the back end it is extremely complex. And they have champions who are, I would like to call them champions, big data architects, big data analysts and engineers, and these guys are the reason why we can go on to create pathways to handle all the data that we see. So again, why is handling big data important? Let me give you 5 importance. The first one is revenue generation. As I told you, money saved is money earned. So you can, if you find the most efficient way and the quickest way you can save data, time is money again. So this will help you in generating more money, where you'll have to put in less workforce there, less time for something to execute and whatnot. Coming to effective marketing again. So if you have something set up, established, which is working really well, you can generate a very good marketing pipeline, which will eventually help sell the product itself. So basically a marketing channel is something which is very important for a product based company, and most of the product based company we see has amazing marketing channels set up. And this again is possible only by having a good data channel setup, guys. And then when we talk about customer service, yes, so if your data is all segregated, it's all well, and it's perfect to look at, perfect to work with, your customers at the end of the day, your clients will be really happy, understanding that their data with your firm is actually safe. And then coming to operational efficiency, of course, again, as I told you, time is money. So the quicker the things can be done, the more efficient way some things can be done, it's of course preferred by the rest of the world as well. So coming to competitive advantage, again, big data has its big data has become a problem in today's world, but then it is a foundational problem in all of the big companies we see out there. So to ensure who's doing it better, that brings a slight edge to one person who's handling it better, one company which is doing a better job. So that again, when we have to talk about competitive advantage, that plays a very vital role there. So there are many tools, when we have to discuss about big data, how we can go on to handle big data. We have tools such as Hadoop, we have Apache Storm, Cassandra, MongoDB, Spark, Hive. So each of these tools you see on your screen has a very specific, has a very niche role that it plays when we have to handle big data. So to keep the scope of this video to all the viewers of this particular video, what I'm trying to tell you guys here is that there are multiple tools out there which of course can handle big data in its own particular way and add a contribution to the entire field. But to keep it to the scope of this particular Hadoop video, we have to discuss Hadoop in particular, guys. So let me give you a quick introduction to Hadoop. Again, guys, if you do know what Hadoop is, or if you have actually used Hadoop, or if you want to learn more, or in fact if you have any questions about this, guys, head down to the comment section right now and let me know. So coming to what Hadoop actually is. Well, Hadoop is an amazing platform. I would say it's one of the top platforms today, which is put together by the people at Apache to ensure you can store big data across a variety of devices, across a spectrum of devices, guys. So what Hadoop does is it's an amazing piece of software which is pretty simple to use and work with as well. So it ensures that, let's say there is some data, we have to process 2 terabytes worth of data. Instead of doing it on one machine, with the help of Hadoop, we can push it to like 10 different machines, 100 different machines, and work with it in parallel. So data processing in parallel is one of the biggest advantages Hadoop has brought to today's world, because again, at the end of the day, we cannot expect an entire pipeline to be pushed and shoved into one computer and work with it, right? So the file system that Hadoop uses is very interesting. It's called as the HDFS, or the Hadoop distributed file system as well. And this distributed file system ensures that scalability is the prime cause. And that they have a computation layer as well. So for storing and working with the files, we have HDFS, but for computation, we have something called as MapReduce. MapReduce, again, it's a paradigm on its own, because it helps in processing data so quickly, so efficiently that if I have to pick a side with any of the big data tools, I think I would pick up Hadoop, MapReduce, and Spark, and all of these tools, because these tools are the foundational reason of why we are able to handle today's data problem, guys. And then of course, Hadoop is an open source software. It means it's free. It supports batch data processing. So data is split into certain number of batches. So think about a chocolate bar and dividing the chocolate bar into 4 or 5 pieces. That's how data is actually processed when we have to talk about batch data processing. So this is usually done to ensure the enormous amount of data that we have is actually handled in a very nice way. This brings us to the question of where is Hadoop used around me today. So I can tell you Hadoop is used in all the big companies, but that wouldn't add value to what I'm saying. But if I have to tell you where Hadoop is specifically used, let me tell you about British Airways. So this British Airways has a program called as the Know Me program, where basically it will collect all the information of the travelers, like where they're planning to travel, when they're traveling, and all of these information in a very big database. So this database they will actually use later to understand where they can cater their planes better, where they can put in their bigger planes at, and this will increase sales, achieve a hike in the revenue. This is how it sounds very simple, but trust me, it is very convoluted. And when people are doing this, when they're achieving something, and as a organization as British Airways is doing it, it works for sure. Coming to Hadoop again, so by making use of Hadoop, Uber were actually able to process hundreds and hundreds of petabytes of data within 1 single minute. And this basically what it did to Uber is that Uber could pretty much increase their network, not just to multiple regions in a single country, but to several countries altogether. So basically there is no latency. You can have a server sitting in somewhere in North America, and you can be picking up a cab in India. So you will have zero latency and negligible. In fact, you'll have like 10 milliseconds of latency, which at the end of the day is nothing when you're booking a cab or a ride home, right? And again, when you have to talk about AWS, Amazon Web Services, is one of the biggest names when you have to talk about cloud computing in today's world. It uses the open source Hadoop distributed technology, where it's making life so much easier to basically by basically providing users with large amounts of computing power to eventually run any data intensive tasks you throw at it. You can pick up small machines there. They have EC2, which is the elastic compute 2. You can pick up some medium sized machines. You can run heavy artillery when we have to talk about data, and whatever you throw at AWS handles it. That's how amazing today we have pretty much in the world of cloud computing, and how we can go on to scale our data to run on the cloud as well, guys. So we've seen where it is used, how it works, and all of that. But why is Hadoop the solution? Are there any other tools? Well, let me give you 4 reasons of why Hadoop is the king. First point is that it is flexible, because when you have to talk about it, organizational data can be structured or it can be unstructured. So knowing how to handle all of this by a software is very vital, and Hadoop can do this. So it's very flexible in terms of handling unstructured data, structured data, and in fact even semi-structured data very effectively. So basically, Hadoop can handle, as I mentioned again, I'm reinforcing the same point. Hadoop can handle anything you throw at it, even encoded data as well. Let's say there's some data and it's run an encryption on it, and pretty much it's encoded now. So Hadoop can actually handle all of this, and it can pretty much process it based on whatever company is requiring. So let's say there's some data which pretty much requires some sort of encryption, where they don't want everyone to read what's present. Well, yes, with Hadoop, encoded data, encrypted data can be processed very easily. And then when you have to talk about scalability again, adding multiple nodes or multiple machines, when you have to talk about scaling your data across multiple computers at the same time, is possible, because Hadoop makes it extremely easy to scale your data across a spectrum of devices, as I mentioned, guys. So when you have to talk about each of these nodes, right? So each of these nodes are actually independent of each other, and by adding like a new node to an existing cluster, it will not hurt in any way. In fact, you can use the new node right up and running as soon as you add it to your cluster and work with it at the same time. So when you make scalability this easy, the world tends to jump on it, and this is exactly what happened. And hence, here we are discussing about one of the world's most famous tools, such as Hadoop. And then when you have to talk about fault tolerance, which is the next point, whenever, let's say, you stored some data, as I told you, HDFS is the Hadoop distributed file system, and you've stored some data using that. So what is done basically for fault tolerance is that this data, whatever you've sent, is actually copied multiple times in multiple locations. So even if one machine dies, the two machine collapses, or something happens, the file will actually be available somewhere on a backup in a node which is probably distant and very far away. So if your immediate servers, your first point of servers fails, then you have backups which is automatically created by Hadoop, where you can pretty much retrieve all the data that you think would have been lost. So if I have to put it in a sentence, Hadoop is completely bulletproof when we have to talk about fault tolerance, guys. And then coming to the next point, which is the last point, which is basically how how Hadoop processes high speed data processing. So as I told you, Hadoop works on the concept of parallel processing, right? So data is processed parallelly one across the other in a horizontal scaled way. So when you have to talk about batch processing, again, batch processing is 10 times faster. Yes, 10 times. That's a big number. It's 10 times faster than having everything run on a single threaded server, or everything run on one single mainframe and let it be worked on. So this is what Hadoop brought to the table. It literally said, I'm going to do everything 10 times faster from now. And the world eventually jumped on it. So, Hadoop, the other important thing is that it is actually a very cheap way, a very cost effective is a better word than cheap, to go on to, handle the big data when you compare it to all the other frameworks that exist in today's world. Let it be either open source or not open source, or whatever, guys. So, again, when you have to talk about how HDFS actually solved the big data problem, HDFS basically uses MapReduce. MapReduce is used as a computation layer, which is again extremely fast. It follows a data coherency model, basically, where data is synchronized with the server, so the server knows what's happening to what data at what point of time. This ensures your data is very safe. It makes sure your database is robust, and that your entire data is scalable to the cloud whenever you need it, guys. So the best part is that it can talk to any sort of hardware. There isn't a proprietary hardware that you have to get to set up an entire channel. Absolutely not. It can talk to all the commonplace hardwares out there in today's world. It can talk to a majority of operating systems and much more. And as I've already told you, the most important thing about data is to make sure it's not lost, it's not unauthorized, it's not used in an unauthorized manner. So again, fault tolerance is something which is championed when you have to talk about HDFS and Hadoop. So what are the 10 reasons that I can give you so that you should learn Hadoop? Let's talk about the first reason, which is definitely the foundation of big data. Because Hadoop, again, when we talk about it, it is a technology that is adopted by almost all the companies around the globe. That's how big it is. Yes, almost all the companies, because when you work with big data, right, it all the big data requirements out there in today's world calls for you to become an expert in Hadoop, because by understanding Hadoop, you have opened doors into multiple career paths. Let me tell you how. If you understand Hadoop, you can work with tools such as Impala, Pig, Hive, Zookeeper, and whatnot. And so all of these tools, they come under the Hadoop ecosystem. So think of Hadoop as an umbrella. So everything, if you become an expert in Hadoop, it will open your doors to pretty much understand everything there is. So this, at the end of the day, will open multiple career paths in each of these individual subtools. Again, make sure you stick till the end. I'll be discussing the salaries of each of these tools as well, but it is an amazing thing that having knowledge about one tool can open up doors to multiple, and this doesn't happen a lot in today's world, guys. So the second point is that it is an end game for all of these legacy tools that we pretty much are thinking of. Why do I say this? Because as soon as Hadoop came into the picture, they told, we can do whatever you guys can do, we can do 10 times faster. And 10 times faster, when you're processing petabytes worth of data, everyone is going to welcome that as an open source software. So Hadoop revolutionized the world, the way the entire world looked at data and how they processed it. Because Hadoop had this thing where pretty much it said, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to do it with better efficiency, I'm going to do it with a better workflow, and I'm going to do it better than any other traditional data warehousing systems that are present in today's world. And they actually did. And pretty much it has a big upper hand, guys. I have to strongly emphasize on this, because when you have to talk about storage technologies, when you have to talk about cost, scalability, or multiple other factors which are extremely vital to handle big data, Hadoop played an upper hand in all of these, and Hadoop pretty much killed it in the space of big data, if I have to informally put it out like that, guys. And then this brings us to the third point. The third point, again, it gives you various opportunities for various careers, as I told you. Why? As again, if you master Hadoop, the number of job openings you have will grow on an exponential level. It's not a simple level, it's not a linear level, it's an exponential level. You can get a job as Hadoop developer, a Hadoop admin, a big data analyst, a big data engineer, till everything. It opens your doors even to become a data scientist, because when you have to talk about it, Hadoop is a technology that at the end of the day provides multiple paths to the learners, where they get to choose what they want to learn. There are certain very big roles in today's world, guys. For example, a big data architect, that's a very big role, which involves designing and developing end-to-end systems for a product or a company to launch and scale their machines. So that software engineering, data analyst, so every one of these guys, every big IT role you see has something to do with Hadoop. And if these developers have Hadoop in their arsenal, then they find it to be very advantageous, and that's the point I want to convey to you guys at this point of time. And then when you have to talk about the next point, which is the variety of programmers, because let's say you're much of a programming person. Let's say you like Python, you like Java, or you want to learn these languages. Well, do know this, as I told you, MapReduce is the computation layer which works with Hadoop, right? So MapReduce basically is written in various languages. You can write MapReduce code in Python, Java, multiple other languages as well. But then let's say you do not want to learn Python or Java. Let's say you're more of an SQL person, you like working with databases and churning data. If that's the case, working with SQL is made perfectly easy, because we have tools such as Apache Hive, we have Apache Drill, and we have multiple other tools which pretty much replicate everything you have to do when you're working with an SQL database. And again, when let's say you're not much of an SQL person, you're not much of a programmer as well, then if you have to if you have an interest towards scripting particularly, we have another beautiful tool, we call it Apache Pig. And again, Pig pretty much helps you with all your scripting needs, and it does it in the most efficient way possible, guys. So this point, in my opinion, is something which is extremely important among all the 10 points, guys. So again, what do you think? Head on to the comment section and do let me know. And again, if you have to talk about the Hadoop trends, well, yes, Google Trends from time to time has proven that Hadoop and big data go hand in hand, and that it's gone in a steady race since the last 5 or 10 years, and it has been predicted for an exponential rise. So no other career path has a prediction just like this, saying Hadoop and big data trends pretty much have an exponential rise, and it has a growth of 20% in $1 billion industry every single year. Yes, they were somewhere at 2 billion, but the $2 billion industry, but now it's pertaining to be somewhere around a $25 billion industry, and all of this happened just in like 5 years. And this is just a forecast put out by a website called as the Gartner.com. And guys, this is happening. Why? Because think about it, this entire world we live in is a huge big data problem, but then Hadoop came into the picture. Hadoop says, I can give you a good way where you can pretty much go on to have a stable foundation for programmers to actually build their careers and solve the world's problems, guys. And then the next important point, the next most important point of why you should consider Hadoop, definitely the biggest salaries out there. Because the biggest advantage at the end of the day when you're learning Hadoop, right, is to ensure that the learner, or after you've become a professional, is that you get very lucrative opportunities to basically tap into a huge potential and unlimited well worth of money, because you'll be earning big dollars every single month, guys. Because when we look at the average salary numbers, right, a Hadoop professional gets somewhere almost above $100,000 up till $130,000 as soon as they start out, and this is in the United States. But if you're wondering what about other countries, what about the UK, what about the subcontinent of India, well, guys, similar compensation packages are actually seen and expected around the globe based on the inflation in that country. But then at the end of the day, do know this, it is one of the highest paying jobs in today's world. And then the next point number 7, is up to filling the gap. Let me tell you what filling the gap means. Basically, in a world where we live, there is a lot of demand and there's a lot of supply. So the big salary actually asks a lot out of a big data developer, because a skilled Hadoop developer understands, and he's basically well placed to take up any challenge which is given by the company. If this skilled person can do that, and if there is, let's say, there is more demand for these big data developers, but the supply is very less, well, then this skilled Hadoop developer who sits there actually restores this balance between the demand and supply, to make sure the entire world actually jumps on to the big data trend train and pretty much rides it out. Because there is no point going against this trend, because you're going to lose at the end of it. But then if you take a ride along with it, if you climb aboard the big data trend, then pretty much you are in for a ride, guys. Then again, when we have to talk about the high demand we have for developers today, as I discussed, right, this world has become an entire big data problem, and this in turn calls for thousands and thousands of professionals who have the ability, who have the right certification, the right skills to ensure they can build scalable solutions. Because we've discussed how data grows every single day, how exponentially data is growing. So what this means is, it calls for a workforce which can actually provide solutions to manage all this data. What again this in turn creates is A plus B equal to C. So what this creates is that there is a scarcity, there's a vacancy of all the job roles, and this at the end of the day tears an entire hole in the fabric of demand and supply, where the demand is very much there but the supply is very low. So this scarcity, this vacancy is the biggest advantage for all of you learners out there right now. If you guys are considering to becoming developers, know this point: there is a scarcity right now for good big data developers. And of course, with, as I mentioned, with the right certification, with the right skill set and experience, you guys can fill this scarcity and restore the balance in the demand and supply world. Coming to the ninth point, it is various domains. So let's say you have an interest towards working in retail marketing, you have experience, or if you have interest working in healthcare, government, banking, media solutions, and much more. Well, all of these guys need some sort of a solution for their big data problem, and that's the best part. Big data is present in every single domain that a human can possibly think of. And business, of course, they're worried about all the data that they're going to generate, how they're going to make best use of it, how they're going to store it, process it, and whatnot. So what this means is that you can have a career as a Hadoop developer, basically in subfields such as in the field of medicine, in the field of governance. You can be in a bank, you can work for the media industry, and much more. So this opens your career doors to various domains, and there are not many other career opportunities which give you the flexibility like this one as Hadoop does. And then we have to talk about the 10th most important reason of why you should consider learning Hadoop. It's the highest priority in organizations today, because the primary goal whenever someone picks up Hadoop or any other tool for that matter is to ensure they can manage data effectively and use it very nicely, right? So this is the umbrella under which everything works. So what this will do, this will basically, as I told you in the first couple of slides, it will open up various channels of marketing, revenue generation opportunities, and other methodologies, which ensures this whatever business is being implemented into, it gives them a competitive edge over all the other businesses surrounding them. And it is very very important to understand that data comes from various sources, right? It might be social media, it might be web server logs, streaming data, text data, mobile call data, mobile photo data, various types of data, guys. So handling each and every one of these is a priority. So companies will have a priority through which they have to go on to understand and target what data needs to be sorted when and worked on how. So considering all of this is the highest priority in organization, and they have a huge requirement for big data developers, guys. So let me now talk about the most exciting thing, the thing that you guys might be waiting for. It's the big data tool wise salaries, guys. So by becoming a big data engineer, you can have a salary of average somewhere around 120,000 US dollars. Being a data architect will give you $123,000, a data scientist $121,000. And if you come down to Hadoop, you can see that the average salary, this is the average, guys. So this number can be beaten by probably friends and family that who are working with Hadoop. So $126,000 313 is what amount which is being quoted. Again, this number keeps changing around, and as you can see on your screen, for Hive there is a number, for HBase, for MapReduce, Pig, ClickTech, Redis, Solar, Spark, Splunk, Scoop, Zookeeper. So all of these tools, as I told you, have one particular thing to do in handling big data. But then if you know each and every one of these tools, amazing. You will of course be paid really well. But then even if you are a person who likes to hone in and look out for one tool where you want to master it thoroughly, well, again, you can pick up a tool based on this particular aspect, where you can understand what you have to learn and what it pays for your investment as learning as well, guys. And this brings us to the part where I give you my final thoughts on the same. And to give you my final thoughts, in fact, let me quote Bill Gates. I'm pretty sure everyone here watching the video knows who Bill Gates is. So Bill Gates said, how you gather data, manage data, and in fact use all this data and information will actually determine whether you will win or lose. Think about how strong that statement is. Guys, read it again. How you gather data, manage, and use information will determine whether you will win or lose a race. So when did the world come to this? When did the world say, how you gather data actually lets you win or lose, right? So this is the, people say that data is the new oil. So if you understand the data, you can become a millionaire and you can become a billionaire, guys. And each and every one of you out there has the potential to do just this. And on that note, let me give you the pathway for further learning. And this is one quote I would like to champion always in all of my live sessions, and you guys absolutely love this more than me now. So an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest, because there is absolutely nothing else that will give you a better interest rate than investing in your own knowledge at the end of the day, guys. So on that note, if you guys pretty much want to check out regarding any IT related technology out there, we have in-depth tutorials. We have comprehensively put together hours together worth of videos on our YouTube channel. So make sure to check out the Intellipaat's YouTube channel and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you never miss updates from us. But then you're not much of a video person, but if you like reading, then we have again thousands and thousands of blogs which are published every single day. Basically, we have multiple blogs which go live every single day, where it's written by software architects, experts from the research team, and pretty much at the end of the day, we take in requests as well. So if you have requests for any content, make sure to hit the comment section and let us know as well. And you have the Intellipaat community setup, where we have people of all ages come in and talk about everything IT, guys. We have every single IT concept that you can think about. We have non-technical questions, we have general questions, and we have completely in-depth technical questions which get questioned and answered by people around the world. So make sure to check out all the three channels to see what fits right for you guys. And on that note, let me quickly guide you through the Intellipaat's Big Data Hadoop certification training program. And in fact, I was about to tell you this, and this popped up, guys. So if you're interested in this course, make sure you head to this page, intellipaat.com Big Data Hadoop training. You can enter your email here and your phone number, and in fact, you will just get a free self-paced course where you can sit and learn a concept for free from Intellipaat, guys. Again, coming back to the course, this is again a very well-reviewed course. We have almost 10,000 learners on this. This will help you master all the big data concepts out there, guys. Hadoop and Spark. So at the end of the day, after you finish this program, right, you will be ready for big examinations. We have the Cloud Era CCA Spark and Hadoop Developer certification. It's called as the CCA 175. Pretty much you can ace this exam by making use of this course. You'll have the Hadoop administration. You will have 14 real life industry oriented case projects, guys. So basically, it'll teach you everything from MapReduce, Hive, Pig, Scoop, Uzi, Flume. You can work with Elastic Compute, EC2 for various purposes. The Spark frameworks, the RDD, Scala, Spark SQL, machine learning, Spark streaming, guys. I can go on and on. And of course, this course is made with one of the biggest names in the world of IT, who is IBM. So this course is actually made in collaboration with the people at IBM. And one more thing you guys need to know is that you get Java and Linux courses for free when you go on to pick this course as well. So let me give you the key features of this particular course. You have 60 hours of instructor-led training, 85 hours of self-paced training, but then as Intellipaat's promises, we give you 120 hours, double the instructor-led session worth of exercises and project work, because we believe at the end of the day that you should have all the required project work, all the exercises that you need, which eventually is the reason which adds weightage to your resume, which adds some sort of a return to your investment when you have to talk about what you took away from the course and what you learned. And at the end of it, the certification gives you equal weightage there to prove to an organization that you've put in the work. And of course, we provide job assistance and flexible scheduling as well, guys. For more information, make sure to contact us from the intellipaat.com website after the end of this video. We give you lifetime free upgrades as well. So let's say you picked up the course now, 5-10 years down the line, you want to come back and learn. Of course, it'll be there in your particular learning management system account, where you can get to learn this throughout your life. So free upgrades, and you'll be learning the latest version of it when you've decided to revisit the course as well, because we provide lifetime free upgrades, lifetime free access, and in fact we do provide 24/7 lifetime support as well, guys. So we have multiple questions here, what you learn from this course, who should take this up, what are the prerequisites, and why you should go for this particular training. So make sure to check out this section to get a quick preface to the answers that might be as a question in your mind. And in fact, coming to the course content, you can begin with installing Hadoop and setting up everything, setting up all the tools, Cloud Era Manager, Spark, Scala, Scoop, Pig, Flume, all of these. Then you'll be diving into the introduction of big data. You'll be having a deep dive in MapReduce, and you can even check out the hands-on exercise we produce and we provide at that particular module as well. Introduction to Hive, advanced hive, introduction to pig, all these concepts that I've been mentioning, right? So these are all the names of the modules, guys. As soon as you click on this tiny plus icon you see on the right side, it's going to open it up in detail. You can understand what are the concepts you're going to learn, and of course what are the hands-on exercise pretty much you'll be learning for that particular module as well. And you'll have some self-paced modules, for example Hadoop application testing, roles and responsibilities of a Hadoop tester, unit testing methodologies, test execution protocols, test planning strategies, and various other tools and technologies as well, unit testing for that matter, and much more. Guys, if you need to understand or if you need any help with the curriculum, make sure you hit the download curriculum button and do call us. Our course advisors are here 24/7. You can see the numbers on your screen right now, and of course I'm going to give you the numbers later again, but make sure to call our course advisors if you're interested, and we can hook you up on a very good deal as well. So make sure you stick till the end of this video with me. Coming to the projects again, you're going to see the name of the project, the industry that this project is based on, what is the problem statement, what are the topics, what is the highlight. So having all of this information about a single project will ensure that you can understand the entirety of the project, and at the end of it you have mastered a project which you can boast on your resume, guys. So it's not one project, it's not two projects. As I told you, we have n number of projects you will be working on this, and right now you can see 11 projects in detail. The industry, for example, this is the sports and entertainment industry. You'll be analyzing the Indian Premier League T20 cricket which happens. You'll be working with a data set which has a lot to do with all the batting scores, all the bowling statistics, runs scored, wickets taken, and more. So the data set you can be consumed as an input. It can be processed, and an entire cricket match can be analyzed based on what's the requirement there as well. And that is just one project among multiple other projects, guys. And of course, if you guys need any sort of sample video, we provide comprehensive sample videos on the course page as well. And at the end of it, you're going to receive a certification from IBM which looks something like this. It's going to say you are certified for Big Data, Spark, Hadoop, the training program, guys. And this certificate, it adds so much value to your resume. It is well recognized in the top MNCs of today's world. 80 plus MNCs. We have Ericsson, Cisco, Cognizant, Sony, Mu Sigma, Saint Gobain, Standard Chartered, TCS, Genpact, Hexaware, and many other companies who pretty much prefer candidates with the Intellipaat certification program, guys. And of course, we have the training reviews. We have some feedback from all of our learners as well, so make sure to check it out. We have a detailed section about our course advisors, and of course at the end of it, the most important part, we have an FAQ section which is going to answer all the questions that you might have pertaining to this course or any other course as well, guys. And of course after that, I can understand you might have more questions as well, but before we get to that part, let me quickly fulfill my promise, guys. Take down a pen and put out your pen and paper and make sure you note this coupon code down. It's going to be valid only for a while, so make sure you use it quick. It's YouTube 30, YOUTUB in capital, followed by numeric 30. This coupon code, especially for the viewers of this particular video, is going to get you a flat 30% off on all of the courses which are present on the Intellipaat's website. So make sure to use this now, and make sure to note it down, guys. YouTube 30. It's a very simple code. And on that note, if you have any questions, any suggestions, any queries, or you have any other requests that you have to make, guys, head down to the comment section and do let us know right now. And of course, if you are confused about what course you need to pick, or if you need any help in general for free, well, make sure to call us on the Indian numbers and the United States numbers given on your screen, guys. And of course, our course advisor team will be more than happy to help you out at any point of the time. And of course, if you're not much of a phone person, if you'd like to keep it to emails, then you can shoot us a mail, sales@intellipaat.com, and we'll be more than happy to cater to you at the earliest. And of course, we have 24/7 chat team which stands by pretty much 365 days of the year, and all of our course advisors along with it to help you to achieve that dream job in the dream technology that pretty much you guys have your goals on and to work with, guys. So on that note, you have reached the end of this session. I hope you guys have a beautiful day ahead, and I always hope to meet you guys on the next one. Until then, see you.